You're listening to the Blizzard Community Podcast, produced by geeks, for geeks. Welcome to Geeks of Azeroth.
Good morning, Vietnam. Or Blizzcon. Or Geeks of Azeroth listeners. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 184, the BlizzCon special episode of Geeks of Azeroth. My name's Tarly. With me, as always, I've got Icarus.
Hello.
And you can't see him today if you're on the live stream, but we also have Baritza.
It's doing everyone a favor, I assure you.
So today is Sunday, obviously, the day we always record the show, but it is a big Sunday because it is the day after BlizzCon has finally ended. And guys, I can't express how excited I am because I was right about a lot of predictions this year. It feels good, man. Feels good.
Round of applause.
But so we're going to just cover every single announcement that happened at BlizzCon this year. And let's just start off with the big controversy of the internet, that is Diablo. So obviously we were all hyped about something being announced this year for Diablo 3 or Diablo 4, Diablo something. Now Blizzard did try to come out ahead of this and say, like, don't get your hopes up. It's not as big as what you think it is, but that didn't stop the entire Blizzard community from getting overly hyped for them to come out and announce Diablo Immortal, the mobile exclusive Diablo MMO. So that's right, it is an MMO, like massively multiplayer, online, shared world Diablo game that is exclusive to iOS and Android. So, and it's not even made directly by Blizzard. Blizzard is outsourcing this project to a company called NetEase, which is a Chinese game that already has an ARPG that looked exactly like this game that came out 3 years ago. So Blizzard's being accused of outsourcing and just reskinning a game that already exists. The internet's blowing up about this. This is not what the community wanted. So, I mean, like, at base value, too, like, I mean, looking at the game, it doesn't look bad. I mean, it looks like it, Diablo on your phone, right? But this was the last announcement of the opening ceremony, which was immediately followed by a 45-minute Diablo What's Next panel. So, yeah, people were disappointed, to say the least. Now, what's your guys' take on what happened?
I think my overall opinion on it is if you don't like it, don't play it. You don't need to, rant and rave like that. The only thing that accomplishes is letting Blizzard know that you're upset and you don't know how to channel that properly instead of giving them actual feedback. Mm-hmm. I guess that's where I stand. Like, when I first heard about it, I was really disappointed, but the more information I kind of gathered on the game, I was like, this actually could be something that's entertaining, because you essentially can just pull it out of your pocket and be like, all right, I'm going to play for 20 minutes because I got nothing else to do, or you're waiting for class or something. It's like, cool, something accomplished, bam, back to what I was doing with my day. Right. And that's not the perspective people are having on it. They're just like, I want to sit down and play a Diablo game for 8 hours straight, but I can't do that because it's on my phone. And it's like, that's cool, but that's not what I think this game is supposed to be.
Right. Okay, good point. Britza, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that the stress point is that it's one of a number of projects that they're working on. So Diablo 4 is probably in the works. They haven't said they're not working on a Diablo 4. They just said they weren't going to announce it. So, it's there. It must be there. But I think the cool thing about this, to look at the positives, is that Blizzard, we've talked about this a number of times, Blizzard is starting to realize the benefits of mobile, in the sense that, you think about Hearthstone as a game you can just pick up anywhere, play anywhere, and that's somewhat been captured by the fact they brought Diablo to the Switch. Nintendo are very much about gaming anywhere and with everyone. So in some ways I applaud the approach. I could put my hand up and say I'm not sure if it's the game I like because I don't tend to game on my mobile phone. But that being said, I do like the idea behind just using mobile devices a little bit more. I mean, again, that being said, I look back at what we talked about last week, and Goldman Sachs were dead on the money. It was a
Yeah.
Diablo app, mobile platform. They knew it was coming. So, in some ways, we can't be too surprised. But I agree with Icarus. I think if you don't like it or it's not the game you want, you can vote with your wallet.
Yeah,
Exactly. So, but for some people, they will enjoy this. And I saw there's some tweets from the convention from Scott Johnson and a few others. And yeah, you could possibly be really cynical and say, well, they're going to say this sort of thing. But they kind of liked it. So I want to give it a chance at the very least.
Yeah. I mean, go on.
I had a question. Have they discussed or given out how much this game is going to cost? Because
no, they haven't. And a lot of people are predicting it will be a free-to-play with microtransactions model, just like Hearthstone.
I feel like that's probably going to be the only saving grace, because if they charge anything over like $10 for a mobile game, it's just like it's not going to sell.
No.
I can't imagine it would.
I do actually predict this game will be actually really successful, just like Hearthstone, if marketed right. Obviously, it's just that they made a mistake of trying to make it a headline. I think I don't know. Blizzard did not read their community very well here, and that's the mistake that they made. And then, of course, to be up there on stage and say, "What? Don't you guys have phones?"
I was literally debating this with another guildie before I joined this show, and he's just like, well, it's a good idea. I'm like, yeah, I agree with you, but that's not what the Blizzard community is. Right. The Blizzard community is about 70% to 90%. I would confidently say of people who want to sit at their computer and play a game for an extended period of time. They don't want to play on their phones.
Especially the audience that shows up to BlizzCon. That is the hardcore of the hardcore Blizzard fan base. So it's funny. So they had another Q&A panel yesterday. And so, of course, he had to go out and address, okay, the Diablo community is amazing, and we hear you. And so they reiterated yesterday, there are more than one Diablo project being worked on. So they had to reiterate. They got a big cheer out of the crowd from that. It's just clearly that Diablo game that we all want is not ready. They should have at least said that in the opening ceremony. That would have alleviated a lot of it. And I guarantee you the community would not have been nearly as upset if they announced this game anywhere outside of BlizzCon. If it was its own announcement, if it was announced at Gamescom, if it was something else, everybody would, oh, cool, Diablo mobile game. But yeah, I think it's just the fact that it took a headline spot is why it got so much backlash.
This could honestly be a stepping stone for the Diablo universe, if you look like it. I'm not 100% sure on this. Maybe you can clarify for me, Charlie. But isn't this Diablo game different from all the other Diablo games in the fact that it is an MMO? Like, you're going to gear up, you're going to get in a party and go do stuff with your friends instead of just go through the story missions 1,000 times getting more and more gear. So this could honestly pave the way for the Diablo universe to branch out and give me Diablo souls.
Right. So our current theory is yes, this is going to be the continuation of the existing formula of Diablo, even putting an MMO spin on it. And while the new Diablo game in development is a totally different genre from what we've had before. But another reason the core Diablo community is upset is that this exclusive mobile game is getting features that the Diablo core player base wanted in the main game for a long time. That is being a shared world, open world that we're getting. In this game, in the open environments, basically anything that's not a dungeon or a town, it's actually a shared world. So the outside environments, you can just run across random players and kill things together. So it's kind of like a Destiny-esque version of Diablo. So people have wanted that in the core Diablo series, but it's not coming. And somebody asked that in the Q&A, will we get these features on PC? And they said no. And then they got booed, the first time Blizzard has ever been booed at their own convention. So I don't know. I think the community has calmed down overall since they, reiterated that they're working on another Diablo game. And then, of course, everybody who has actually gone, and it's sad. You see the pictures of there's nobody lined up to play it right? Like everything else is a full line. Nobody's lined up to play this game, but everybody who's played it, including Kim from the Epic Geeks podcast, she said it's really good. It feels good to play. And so that's reassuring, at least, that it's not going to be some garbage game.
I think Blizzard's saving grace to this whole like Diablo thing is to get some popular streamers or someone on board to show the community that it's actually a fun game to play. They just had the wrong idea of how it was supposed to be played.
Right. Yeah. So
which is my stance on that, and I'm standing firm. Yeah. God damn it!
I signed up for the beta of the game. You can register, of course, with your Apple ID or your Google Play. So if you want to get the game and you want to play it, you have to have a newer phone. Basically, the same requirements for Fortnite on mobile. If your phone can play Fortnite, your phone can play Diablo, and you can figure it out from there. But you can pre-register, download the game. I'm interested, and I'm a little less angry now as if a couple days have passed. But we've all been sharing the memes that Blizzard's turning into EA. Let's hope not. We'll see.
On the point of specs, obviously mobile doesn't just mean mobile devices, so iPads and tablet devices presumably can download it, and I just wonder how are they going to I don't, to me this game feels like it's more of a tablet game than a phone game, because like even like looking at an iPhone XS Max, I sit and think that is going to be small to deal with. I know again it's about portability and internet connection. I think you need a constant internet connection to play this, hence why they're not going to introduce hardcore mode. But I don't know. I don't know if it really is a true mobile game. This is me thinking out loud. I just feel like it's probably more suited for tablets. And again, how many of our player base, you pointed out, Tali, like I don't know how many people have modern enough phones and mobile devices to play this thing. So it might be that Blizzard's kind of applied to a niche that isn't really there yet because everyone's packed their money into GTX graphics cards.
Well, I mean, you think so? Like on the point that it goes like the Fortnite requirements, like that goes all the way back to the iPhone 6s. So that's like if your phone is
fair enough.
if your phone's at least 3 years old, then you can play the game. So
Britta, have you looked at how the UI is set up for the game?
Yeah, it actually looks pretty decent.
Yeah, it does. And to be honest, when you hear it spoken about, it's you move around with one thumb and then you direct your spells with the other, to me that felt a bit clunky, but seeing it laid out, it does seem actually quite intuitive. So
if I played this game, I honestly would just set my phone down and use my index finger to move and then use my other finger to hit the buttons, because I feel like that's the only accurate way to do like some of the cooler things you can do like on console. Like it'd be so hard to like kite things as a demon hunter with your foot. There's someone who could probably do that, but not me.
Now, of course, you can get handheld things for your phone that attach and make it like kind of Joy-Cons on a Nintendo Switch. You can get accessories for your phone that make gaming like that easier, but I agree, it's not like a Hearthstone that's so easily accessible to play. Like, I don't know, we'll just have to get our hands on it. Unfortunately, none of us were there to be able to get an impression of the game, what it feels like to play. So we'll just have to find out when it comes out. But yeah, let us know, obviously, what you guys think. Diablo is a point of contention right now in the Blizzard community, but I'd say overall, the rest of the announcements were pretty solid for the Blizzard community. What game should we talk about next? Let's talk about StarCraft, because there's actually some interesting things to talk about with StarCraft 2. So there's a new co-op commander. Obviously, that was pretty easy to predict. It's Zeratul. So obviously, a new war chest. There's going to be a new balance patch, so they're going to be changing a lot of things. So if you still play StarCraft 2 competitive style, you'll have stuff to look forward to. But the new skins that are coming are actually pretty cool, because now there's building skins, so you can just completely change the way your army looks. That's kind of cool. But really, I want to talk about the StarCraft 2 tournament, because history was made this year for the first time in 20 years. The grand championship for StarCraft was won by someone who was not Korean.
What?
Cyril took the victory last night, which is incredibly impressive. History was made. I mean, that's a pretty big deal for a non-Korean to win the grand championship. That hasn't happened.
I mean, I'm not a big StarCraft fan, so I have no foot in the race.
Yeah, I mean, none of us really play StarCraft. I mean, I used to. I don't really anymore, but I still think it's kind of a big deal for that big tournament to be. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even watch it, but it's still a big deal. So yay!
We have a chance. Woo!
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Moving on to Heroes of the Storm, we get a new hero. Just one new hero announcement this year. But it's a pretty big deal because this hero actually does not exist in any other Blizzard franchise. This is a new hero specific to Heroes of the Storm, and she looks pretty cool.
I'm super excited. Sorry to interrupt
you. Orphea? I don't know how to say her name.
Orphea.
Yeah, she looks.
It's like Morpheus. That's how I remember it.
She looks OP as hell.
Every hero looks OP when they're launched,
right? But her cinematic is she the daughter of the Raven Lord? Is that what I'm gathering?
Yeah, that's what I collected.
Yeah. So her cinematic, very well done. The art style was very unique from any other Blizzard cinematic we've seen before. I really liked it. I was really impressed by that. So obviously, I'm sure our listeners have already seen it, but if you haven't, check it out. I didn't happen to see what else is coming to Heroes of the Storm. If you guys managed to? Was there any big features coming or any big changes coming overall?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh wait, actually, there is one. They allowed people to solo queue into Team League. I literally found out this like 45 minutes ago.
Wait.
So. Yeah, they split the brackets again.
Okay.
And I think the general update was that there are lots of changes coming. Yeah. So it kind of everything's getting rebalanced, retuned, and everything. I think it was almost an unofficial Heroes 3.0 in a sense, or it felt like that, like the amount of changes that are coming. But I think the takeaway was the fact that they've kind of created an original character, which screams to me that I don't know, they're maybe trying to shore up against League of Legends a little bit.
Yeah, League has really, over the last year, really amped up their lore development and their storytelling. So I can definitely see Heroes doing the same thing, and this is actually a really interesting start to that, actually having a storyline going on between characters who don't exist otherwise in the Blizzard universe. So that's pretty cool. I'm just reading over these notes here. It does look like they're changing the way that you gain experience through playing the game. So they've removed all experience earned from destroying a fort or keep. They've decreased experience earned from destroying towers by 50%, but they've increased the passive experience gained by 15% and increased the experience gained by defeating defending mercenaries by 100%. So I don't know. That seems to change the overall structure of how you'll get experience. It seems to me like it overall slowed down the initial leveling.
Actually, I think that's to directly counter people taking like two specialists and just destroying a top or bottom lane and just getting like a level or two lead on you, and you're like, oh great, now we play this entire game at a disadvantage.
Okay. Looks like they are also changing the quick match matchmaker a bit to try to prioritize including a tank, a healer, and a ranged assassin in every team.
Thank you.
Prepare for longer queue times is what that sounds like to me. And of course, they are changing stim packs to boosts. They do the same thing.
You're just renaming it.
It looks like what was once called a stim pack is now a boost, and in addition to buffing your XP and gold gains, all players on a team will receive 5% bump in experience for each active boost in the match.
Oh, they're doing what Rainbow Six does if you have the season pass. So if like one person has it, everyone gets 5%, but if everyone has it, you get 25, and it's like, oh,
Fortnite does something similar as well. So yeah, that good overall. You can provide a boost to everyone, not just yourself. And, of course, some new school-themed skins. Orphea's skin looks really cool. And then there's Janitor. What's his name?
Leoric.
Yeah.
I think I just reminded myself of one of the big updates, which is that in ranked, we don't lose points anymore when our people in our team disconnect for extended periods of time, which is huge because that pretty means that I'm going to be top of the rank table now. I blame all the disconnections.
That's seriously a thing? Then they need to put that in Overwatch as well.
Wait, what? I was throwing money at the camera. What happened?
You don't lose points if someone on your team leaves
or disconnects for a long period of time. And on top of that, the motion and promotion games between ranks are getting removed as well, which is just as big. But for me, I think quality of life, disconnection was the big thing that kind of made Heroes for me quite a strain.
Why is that not in Overwatch? Oh, that's frustrating. Come on, Blizzard.
It probably will be at some point by the sounds of it.
Well, that's a good segue. So interesting change coming to Heroes. Please put that in Overwatch. But now let's talk about Overwatch. So as they talked about before, there was no new map, but we did get a new cinematic, McCree themed cinematic, and this cinematic was really, really good. It shows exactly what happens on Route 66, how that train ended up exploding and being hanging down. It's the story of that, and in that introduced a plethora of potential new characters. So first off, we got Ashe, who is the new hero. We'll talk about her in a second. She's McCree's old rival. Very cool. We got Bob. Again, we'll talk about him in a second. He's Ashe's helper, big old strong
old
bot. Yeah. Then there was like this Omnic sniper guy who looked really cool, who could be a potential hero. But then there was McCree's robot friend, Echo
partner,
that he pulled out of a box at the end of the cinematic. Check out the whole cinematic to get more details, but everybody was thinking she was going to be the new hero, like, please, please, please. And later, well, I guarantee she will be a hero at some point. But
I think she is the box, not she was in the box, because like she Sorry, I was watching it again, and it was. Yeah. So she was the box. She opens up anyway. She was the loot that Ashe was looking for. But Ashe is the new hero. I'm pretty sure she's pretty much just a McCree replacement, because who needs a McCree on your team if you have an Ashe? She's a new DPS hero. She's got a pump action rifle and a shotgun, which she can use to shotgun jump. That's new. Like, you've heard of rocket jumping, but now you can shotgun jump. It must be a really powerful shotgun. She can throw dynamite, which she can shoot out of the air to make it explode in any location if you're good at aiming. And she has an ult that is fantastic. Her ultimate is Bob. She summons this robot to just punch and shoot and destroy people. OP as hell. Looks like the Necromancer from Borderlands 2. What do you guys think of her? I think she looks awesome. She looks amazing. I like her one ability that either makes you fire faster or hip fire, or you do bonus precision damage if you're aiming down sight. I was like, oh, it's like a better Hanzo ability.
Yeah. What do you think, Britta?
I really like her. I mean, admittedly, I'm not too clued up on her technical meta, but I think she's a cool addition. Like, lore-wise, exactly what we were hoping for. I'm trying not to talk about the lack of episodic content that we're not getting from Overwatch, but no, I think she's a really cool addition. And the fact, when Jeff, announced that Bob is the ultimate. I like how they're throwing things out of the box, pun intended, to shake things up. Having another character as an ult is a really cool thing, and it touches it's skirting around that almost 2-player mechanic that we talked about when Orisa was launched. So it's nice to see that they're kind of almost getting there. But yeah, really cool addition. It's
interesting if he would even be considered like a player when he's live, like in game. Like, can McCree target him with his ult and then actually kill 7 people with a 6-shooter? Like, is that a possibility? There has to be a voice line if that happens where Ashe calls him out, "You're a dirty cheat, McCree." Like, if he shoots 7 with 6.
Oh, that would be so funny. He goes, "Wait, how many builds did I have?"
What's also really cool about this hero is the skins. Like, if you watch the Overwatch What's Next panel, they showed some concept, and my favorite was the mobster. So it has her in like a pinstripe suit with a purple hat, and then it also dresses up Bob in the like same style. So like every skin that comes out for this hero is going to be her plus Bob. And if the golden weapon isn't an entire golden Bob, we are going to riot, fan base.
Oh my gosh! I just googled that Ash skin. Oh
yeah, the mobster Ash. Yeah, it looks super cool.
I'm a sucker for pinstripes, but that is amazing, dude.
Yeah. So check that out if you haven't yet. Super excited. She's going to be a really fun DPS. Everybody's going to be instant locking her for quite a while when she releases. Should be up on the PTR on Monday, so if you have Overwatch, download the PTR. You can check her out right away.
While we're still on the topic of Overwatch, can I bring up something that's really hilarious?
Yep, go for it.
The Nerf guns.
Yes.
The Nerf guns.
Yes, there are Overwatch Nerf guns. Might actually have to buy some.
I feel like we should.
Yeah, we definitely should. But the Overwatch community was overall a little bit salty because there wasn't a huge amount announced outside of that. Okay. But yeah, they didn't announce any new maps. They didn't announce any major gameplay changes. It was just the new hero and talking about her a lot. So that's okay. We don't need a whole lot of announcements. I'm actually just briefly skimming over the What's Next panel, see if I missed anything. Doesn't look like it though.
It was a very yeah, and it was also quite merchandise focused. Like obviously there's the Lego partnership and other things. So it just seems like they're consolidating the stuff this year and merging up.
One thing I did check out was the World Cup viewer in Overwatch, and that I'm excited. I'm excited for that to be a major part of the game. I don't like that it's a whole separate download. It's like a 15 gigabyte download. Like you're basically downloading the game again just for that. I'm excited for it to actually be integrated in Overwatch, but really, really cool. I mean, that gives you, it plays the game live in your preferred preferences. So I can watch it at 144 frames per second on my monitor. And I can free cam, or you can view whoever you're watching. So was watching Linksters, played Tracer. It was a really incredible, unique experience to watch competitive Overwatch. I just wish that I could have had the announcers in there as well. That would have really upped the experience, I think. But overall, it's incredible to watch these professional players however you want to. I really enjoyed that experience, actually, more than I thought I would. Did you guys check out the World Cup viewer at all?
I unfortunately did not.
Same.
Well, it will be a permanent feature for the Overwatch League Season 2, so you'll have plenty of time to check it out. And, of course, you'll be able to use it to eventually replay your own games. I'm a fan. I think it's a really good feature. Good job, Blizzard. Yeah. So moving on, Hearthstone, of course, again, easy to predict. They've got a new expansion coming out, the Rastakan's Rumble. Yes, so this introduces some interesting mechanics. 135 new cards, blah, blah, blah. It releases December 4th, blah, blah, blah. You can pick a Loa. That's a thing. Again, kind of like StarCraft, none of us really play Hearthstone, so probably not a whole lot to add on that topic.
Cards look cool.
Yeah, they look good, as always. Oh yeah, one other thing on Overwatch, like the SFM community of course is blowing up, which they're the ones who make the animated porn for Overwatch. Are they ever going to introduce an ugly character?
Just like Hammond, he's an animal, but then again,
that hasn't stopped the SFM community.
I don't know.
They went straight to work after her announcement.
Is nothing sacred?
No, nothing.
And when you say they went straight to work, was it on Ash or Bob?
Both.
You don't both. Yeah.
I want to know. Okay, fair enough.
Where have you been? Come on.
So let's move on to World of Warcraft. So they talked So a big surprise, Classic is out next summer. I kind of thought that they might announce something like that, but didn't really. And so to get that Classic is out that soon and is included in your World of Warcraft subscription, that's absolutely something I didn't expect. You don't have to pay any down costs, and you get it if you subscribe to World of Warcraft. That's awesome. So that's coming out very soon, and I don't know if you guys had a chance, but I played the demo. I am impressed, to say the least, because again, I didn't play Classic, but to load up into that experience and then to just realize I had no idea where to go for a quest because quest markers weren't a thing, and then realizing that I can't just pull a bunch of mobs without just getting obliterated on pretty much any class that I tried to play, and talent trees, and oh my god, I was blown away by how different of a game vanilla.
I wonder how many people play warriors in the main game are like, I'm gonna go play a warrior in Classic, and I go, where's my victory rush? Where's my healing? Band-aids, motherfucker. Band-aids.
Yeah, I found myself drinking for mana constantly. Like, I think I'm gonna play a warlock.
Play a mage.
Play a mage.
Conjure biscuits, dude. You'll be loved.
Yeah, you'll be popular. You'll be popular. Yeah. I really hope that when Wowhead create their classic version of the site, they go back and recall it Alakazam, because I think Wowhead needs to go back to classic as well.
Yeah, they already had the talent trees are already live, or the talent calculator, so you can do your cookie cutter build if you want to, but you don't have to. You can play exactly how you want. I don't know. I'm actually hyped for classic now that I've had a chance to play the demo. It's a totally different game. I realized that the entire gameplay until 60 is kind of going to suck until you get more of your kit. But, yeah, it's cool. Really cool.
And remember that it's going to be part of our sub. Right. So there's no reason we can't all play it.
Yeah.
I mean, I lived it. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it again, but if I do it, I'm going to be a mage. You know why?
I was there, dude.
Managem was the thing. Managem is... Oh...
So,
free potions.
Yeah, when I was playing a warlock, first off, bag management, totally a thing. You don't get a fuck ton of bags right off the bat when you play the game in Classic. You have one bag for a while, and I have all these things called soul shards taking up my bag space. I was like, what? What is this? So,
and it's going to get full of quest stuff very quickly.
Yeah. But yeah, just having to actually read quest text to figure out where to go, man, that's a game changer right there, unless you get an add-on, of course. But yeah.
Do you think what do you think the place of add-ons is going to be? Because again, looking at the when they reiterate the design philosophy for Classic, they talked about like all this stuff that people were not complaining about, but saying all this stuff you're not getting it. But add-ons surely that's just a cheat. That's just saying I want Classic, but I don't want all the hassle that Classic had.
There were add-ons in Classic, though. You could get add-ons back in the day.
Carbonite Quest Helper, bro. It's going to be back.
Yeah.
Just to point out, I quickly went to the calculator and Pyro's back, so everyone strap into auto die. In case you're wondering, that's an instant cast Pyroblast to your face. And then you die because it's a 12-second cast for free. Yeah, playing a mage. Fuck shamans. I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm very interested. I can't wait for Classic. I'm gonna try to do it without add-ons. I'll get probably like a DPS meter, maybe bartender as well. But I don't want quest helpers until I get extremely frustrated with the game. Which, according to Preach, is about 4 hours in. You realize, yeah, the quests don't matter. It's just grinding mobs until 60.
Yeah, killing boars.
You're gonna get stuck at Southern Barrens or Ashenvale if you're Horde. I can feel it. That's where it sucks.
For the Alliance.
Then it's gonna be Duskwood. All right, we're gonna give you vague as hell. Go kill bats. What bats? There's all the bats everywhere. Right, I'm just gonna go kill them all until I'm done.
All right, now onto the live game. I just again was 100% correct. Nazjatar is where we're going in 7-2. Ultimately facing off against Queen Ashara in 8.2 and 8.2.5 when the raid releases. In Ashara's Eternal Palace, which will be the raid. Yeah, so Najatar is an underwater zone, but it's not underwater. I'm assuming it's going to be like this giant place surrounded by like waves, and we've like fallen in. I don't know. Either it's like a risen up. Yeah, it's like an Atlantis type thing, basically. A place that was underwater that's suddenly not anymore. It's a pretty decent sized zone. But before that even comes out, we're getting patch 8.1.5, which will finally bring us Coltiran humans and Zandalari trolls, and a new in-game, Dark Shore stuff, the new Warfront. That's what it's called. And we will also get heroic Warfronts. Finally, they'll actually be more difficult, more engaging gameplay. They're bringing the Brawlers Guild back and more micro holidays, and they're redoing Warsun Gulch and Arathi Basin. So new visuals there, cool stuff. And Warlords of Draenor time walking, all of that coming in patch 8.1.5. I mean, to say what we all know that Warlords of Draenor was a disaster, but the dungeons were good.
They just were cool.
So, something I wish they would do, and they might do it down the road. I might even be tinfoil hatting a future thing, but they should do Mythic Plus time walking. How hard would it be to add Mythic Plus to just all the old dungeons? Would it be
they could do it from like Pandaria forward, because wasn't there challenge modes at that point?
Yeah. But come
I
on.
would be okay with
Wrath Mythic Plus?
They could even have the OG like challenge sets like recolored, I guess, so people didn't get pissed off that they grinded it back in the day for no reason, and give it to us that way. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm still going over these calculators, looking at all the overpower builds you can do. Just, I'm going to play this game, but I'm going to lose like 9 years of my life re-leveling all these classes.
Good.
Good.
That's what it's supposed to do.
So they also said, so we will get patch 8.1 on December 11th. So that's, of course, the new raid won't come out at launch of that patch either. The what's it called? Siege, attack on Dazar Lore, whatever. That comes out in January. But then, 8.2. We're going to Najatar. We're gonna fight Ashara. That's gonna be some cool stuff. But we get 2 new land masses. So not only do we get Najatar, but we also get a new gnome location called Mechagon, which included. Inside of it includes a mega dungeon, just like patch 7.1 with Karazhan. We're getting a new 8-boss mega dungeon, mythic only, which assumably down the road will get split in half and be given keystones. But currently it's just a new mega dungeon that you can only do on mythic and will assumably take forever and be very difficult. But that's coming, and now everybody is just assuming mechanomes will be a allied race because there's a new type of mechanome. Kind of very Deus Ex inspired, where they're like half gnome, half mecha. There's these new models you can check out. They were shown in full detail in the panel, but everybody's predicting that to be a new allied race. Also in 8.2, they are redoing Worgen and Goblins. They're getting updates, which those models look really nice. It's kind of hard to tell the difference between the Goblins, like more facial animations, I guess, but the Worgens, they really needed a model update, and they look really, really good. Let's see. Gnomes and Tauren are getting heritage armor next. So that looks cool.
The Tauren one looks incredible. It does look good.
So is that totem that's on your back like a cape, I guess?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think it's... I reckon it was a reskin for the weapon, but maybe not. Because where would the weapon go? It would blend in to the... I don't know. I hope it's a weapon.
So they didn't go full into detail of what we're going to be doing on Najatar and Mechagon, but they emphasize that world quests aren't enough. Like obviously, like we've had the same type of like just new world quests. Okay, new zone, there's going to be world quests there. New zone, there's going to be world quests there. We've kind of gotten used to that since Legion, right? So they emphasize that they love the model of like the Timeless Isle or the Thundering Isle, like where there was just always stuff to do beyond just your daily quests. So that'll be good if we get more just progression stuff that we can do on our characters other than just the simple world quests every day that become really repetitive.
Can I fly yet?
8.2, yes. 8.2 does bring in flying. Obviously, you'll probably have to get exalted with some new faction.
Done.
Already done. But yeah, so this is a lot of stuff coming to WoW. It'll keep me playing, at least for the story.
Can we briefly talk about the cinematics?
Oh, right. Yeah. So, yeah, there was Lost Honor, Anduin going and directly facing Sourfang, and ending with what looks like Anduin letting Sourfang out.
Warcraft Civil War, here we come.
I honestly wonder if we're gonna see Horde inside the Alliance race as they're
again. Like I kind of mentioned it last week. I think this gives credence to the idea of a third faction, or at least subdividing the Horde, because this is directly what leads into then that quest line in patch 8.1 where Horde players get to choose Sourfang or Sylvanas.
So not that I'm not thrilled about this because I play Horde and I love it, but aren't the Alliance kind of being left out of all this shit?
Yes, like they even mentioned in the opening ceremony, Alliance seemed to have an advantage right now. Well, sure, in the war, but not in the gameplay. I want an interesting quest line where I can choose stuff.
Okay, let's take the first 20 quests that you have to do from each faction. The Horde, mind-numbingly boring. The Alliance, you get captured, you steal a boat, you get drunk, and you become a pirate.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. That's but now the Horde gets a dynamic quest line with multiple outcomes. Again, first for World of Warcraft. But it's just interesting because that will literally divide the Horde player base. It's just going to be interesting how that plays out, and of course the cinematic just made that whole ordeal more awesome.
Are we not already divided?
Yeah, right.
And the fact they've paired Sylvanas up with Xalath, I think, is going to open up a lot of lore possibilities, because obviously Xalath had a fair few predictions, and if Sylvanas is listening to all that nonsense, then it leaves a lot of ambiguity still behind her character. Yeah.
So Sylvanas has Xalatath, the Shadow Priest weapon that is constantly whispering you stuff. So there was a comparison I saw on Reddit this morning that basically aligned the storyline of Mists of Pandaria with the storyline of this expansion, and it's panel for panel. It's going exactly the same. Now Sylvanas has a void-filled weapon,
corrupted
just
weapon.
like Garrosh did, and it's ultimately going to lead us going back in time to fight Arthas, probably. So this theory has a lot of credence here. So we have Kalia Menethil is already a big character now, Arthas' sister, and then we have Talia, who is rumored to be Bolvar's daughter.
Four dragons. Yeah.
And so we could potentially have her finding out that her father is now the Lich King, and then wanting to go back in time to stop all of that from ever happening. We're going to have Warlords of Draenor too, but we're going back to the culling of Stratholme. I guarantee it. Don't guarantee it, but it's an interesting tinfoil hat theory. Very interesting.
Which is added to, I guess, by the other game announcement.
Exactly. So to close off the show, because we are running out of time, the big announcement. It's funny that this is the big announcement of BlizzCon this year. Warcraft 3 Reforged. It's happening. We're getting Warcraft 3 again, and it's coming next year. It looks so good.
To me, this is... these are a bit mixed up to me. Warcraft Classic is launching in summer, even though World of Warcraft launched in November when it was first launched. And Warcraft 3 is probably going to launch after that, sometime around November or December time, when it, in fact, was launched in July. So I know they're not quite ready at the same time, but still, it just seems like they're backwards for some reason.
Yeah, perhaps.
But hey, screw it. Yeah, Warcraft 3, screw it. I want it. I want it.
Yeah, go on.
I don't know what I'm more excited for, to replay all those games, because I think that's the only RTS I actually thoroughly enjoy, or Winter Mall War is coming back as a custom game mode.
Yeah, see, we're getting the editor back. We're getting the custom games back. I mean, it's Warcraft 3 with way better graphics. I don't know if I'm more excited to play the multiplayer again or to play the campaign. Either way, it's just this was the biggest announcement of BlizzCon.
So does this mean we get Dota 3?
Yes. Yes. The original Dota getting remastered.
Yeah. You can pre-purchase it now already. There's going to be things in every Blizzard game, but right now you can get a meat wagon mount in World of Warcraft that has a working catapult. You get a card back in Hearthstone, 4 Warcraft heroes and Heroes of the Storm, and more. So presumably we'll get a Warcraft themed skin in Overwatch, hopefully. But yeah, I'm super excited to play Warcraft 3 again. I was actually wanting recently to play through the Warcraft 3 campaign. I'm just thinking in the back of my head, like, I should wait. They're probably going to remaster it. And here we are.
So while we got a few minutes left, what was your guys' favorite races in Warcraft 3 to play?
Undead.
Yeah.
They're the most like Zerg.
That's true. I liked it because of lazy gold farming, because they didn't have to walk back and forth between your keep. You just sat them there and you're like, all right, cool. I know where you're at forever.
What about
Next.
you, Brissa?
It had to be the Night Elves, just because you had the passive Shadow Meld ability, which meant when night cycled over, all your troops became invisible, which is such a pain in the ass to fight.
Yeah.
So I always played Night Elf because I just didn't want to be like seeable during the nights, basically.
Yeah.
Plus the story, the story I love, and can I just say quickly about the graphical rework of the game? It looks fantastic. I just remember the collective when that scene of Arthas and Uther appeared.
Yeah.
I just thought that is exactly how I wanted this game to look. And funny enough, do you remember that a year or two, or maybe even 3 years ago, that kind of, was it like a fan rework of Warcraft 3? It looks exactly like that, which makes me wonder, like conspiracy theory hat on, whether that was a leak or something to try and test the waters. But
possibly. But there were things that were different in that. Like some of the models were actually just improved versions of the Warcraft 3 models. Mm-hmm. What we're seeing here is the majority of the models in this game are actually World of Warcraft models now going back into Warcraft 3, and they specifically said this is intentional to just bridge the gap between World of Warcraft and Warcraft 3. So all the undead models will look like undead models in World of Warcraft.
What?
All the buildings will look like their perspective buildings in World of Warcraft. All the colors, all of that will be very much World of Warcraft-esque now instead of old schooly Warcraft.
So it's World of Warcraft super zoomed out.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's Warfront Commander, basically.
Yeah, these are the new Warfront.
In 4K. Can you believe that? It's in 4K as well.
God.
Yeah, so when the guy went up on stage, so we have this announcement, we're working on redoing this new game, blah, blah, blah. I was just really like, Diablo 2 or Warcraft 3, Diablo 2 or Warcraft 3, and then you just hear that opening line of the cinematic, like, yes!
Did they rework that cinematic?
Yes, it is a little different. Yeah.
Yeah. That was cool. I'm glad they did that.
I think they reworked it just to include all the expansions in it, because I'm pretty sure the orc kills the dude.
Yeah.
I did get a little bit of PTSD flashback to Legion, though, during that cinematic. I did think, oh, God, don't take us back there.
I don't know if I didn't see it anywhere specifically, but I assume this is also the Frozen Throne. Like, I would assume that would be included.
I think you get all of it. I don't know why they wouldn't remaster the main game and not give you the expansion for it.
Yeah. I mean, because you get, just going back to the StarCraft remaster, same team did that. You got the main StarCraft and Brood War, so I would assume we get Frozen Throne here.
It'd be really shitty for them to be like, oh, look at this awesome Forge, and you get to buy the expansion again. We'll all be like, I hate you, but I'm going to do it.
You're right.
Yeah. And I just checked the page. You do get both games. So
And so, like, the Classic team emphasized multiple times how they want to preserve Blizzard's games for the future going forward, so I cannot help but predict next year we will still get Diablo 2 remastered from this team. Bet it'll happen. They just decided to do Warcraft first.
To the cow level.
To the cow level. So, I mean, that about wraps it up. That's basically everything. BlizzCon 2018. It was a light BlizzCon for announcements. The esports were great. Obviously, Warcraft 3 Reforged has everybody hyped. I'm hyped about Classic and about Warcraft or World of Warcraft's new stuff coming down the line. What about you guys? What are you most excited about?
Warcraft 3, mostly.
I hate to say it, Warcraft 3. I just really like the stuff coming out. Saying that, I think it is a great time to be a WoW player, given all, and I specifically call that game out because of all the tension that's been there. I think the community's finally starting to get back on the wagon now.
Yeah, it is kind of like the same way with Legion. Like, Legion was not perfect at launch, and it kind of fixed itself as the patch cycle went on. I assume the same thing will happen with BFA. Let's just eventually all forget that Azerite armor was even a thing.
Bit of a side note quickly before we close.
Yeah.
Did you see how Destiny 2 creeped in?
Yes, during the pre-show. Yes. I was like,
It's
get
gonna
out of
happen.
here. Get out of here. No.
They're not going. Like I saw that and I was like, you guys are going to try and have a stage next year.
Yeah.
Totally going to.
Yeah. But I guess we can mention that briefly too. Destiny 2 for like a month is free. I mean, you can just claim the offer and then boom, you have it for free. So, if you want to play Destiny 2 and haven't yet, there you go. There's your chance. But that about does it. Thank you guys for watching. As always, you can check us out on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, right here, twitch.tv/Geeks of Azeroth. Britza, where can we find you?
You can find me at Britzer_EG.
On Twitter. That's right. You can find us on Twitter at Geeks of Azeroth. I should probably mention that. Icarus, where can we find you?
You can find me here on Twitch also on Ikarian_Night.
And you can find me on Twitter at EpicGeeksCharlie. Otherwise, we'll see you guys same time, same place next week. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Work.